Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you, YouTube? How are you guys doing? Hope everybody is well. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I cannot tell what color this thing has me looking. But anyways. So tonight, this is distracting here. Give me a second. Tonight, I put up the title of what we are going to talk about. I actually know what it is a lot, but here we go. But I never edit it. I just go into my live. But if this live is seen to be coming online by anyone, then I definitely want them to know what this is about. So I want to go into spiritual warfare. Now, when I come into the messages that I'm going to be talking about, unfortunately, a lot of the times it happens in the morning or say the night before or something like that. And by the time I get to talking about it, I've already had like a whole day, a whole night, a whole day, a whole whatever with this message on my heart. So sometimes the delivery is not the same as I would have maybe delivered it had I gone ahead and done it right away. Oh my gosh. So I'm getting the same card. I have these cards that just have quotes and I kind of like them. And then every time I pull a quote, I feel like the quote that I pull is kind of steering the message that I'm going to be talking about. And tonight I pulled enlightenment. No mud, no lotus. I did a whole live on this before and it's coming again, and I just definitely feel like that is very much the theme of what I'm going to talk about. So first things first, I want you guys to know I keep talking about it because it is the transition that we're in. Right now, we are in our new beginnings phase of gang stalking. If you still want to remain married to the past, then you're going to continue focusing on the past. I am going to, let me see if I put it here. I'm going to be talking more about attention, where your attention goes, where your energy goes. A lot of these things, if you hear it the first, second, or third time, it's not going to make sense in the same way. It starts making more and more sense. You start connecting to what the message is because you keep hearing it over and over described in different ways. Not necessarily the first time, it's not necessarily going to make sense in the way that you think that it should. In this new phase, and this is the thing that it is important to understand. Just because you energetically walk into a new phase of your life does not mean the other people in your life are walking into that new phase. Therefore, people are still going to behave in the old ways as you move forward. You need to be responsible for yourself, your actions, your everything, and walk into the new. And people want to keep you stuck in the past with them. And as they behave in an old way and you respond in a new way, the disconnect grows further, it grows wider. They may try to go even harder to try to get you to respond in the same way as you did before. That is just people not understanding that the whole reason that you're responding differently is because you've gone through the metamorphosis already. So people talk about metamorphosis a lot, like the huge analogy is always a caterpillar and a butterfly. It's kind of like they're trying to get a butterfly to crawl on its stomach when it has these massive wings. And that's the thing, try as you may, if you were on the floor crawling with caterpillars before, energetically they can't reach you because you're on treetops, you're in branches, you're all over the place. But more so, you can't crawl. Have you ever seen a butterfly crawl? So it is asking something of you that you're not capable of doing. This is what has happened energetically, is that, in this case with gang stalkers, we got to get to the point where not only do you break out of the soul bindings, but you become a totally new person. You have a new soul, more or less. You have a new identity, a new everything that nobody knows. And so, at this point, you don't have friends, you don't have family, you don't have soul attachments, you don't have soul contracts. You have nothing for anyone to attack. And whatever it is that you're going to have, you're building. You're building it now. It doesn't exist yet. There is literally no way to get in. And this is why I talk about embracing the gang stalking experience, that this is preparing you for your future, for a new beginning. Do not block yourself from that new beginning that is coming. You got to be patient. A lot of the times gang stalkers feel that they've taken something from you, or they blocked your money, or they blocked your path, or they blocked your relationships. And really all that's happening is they are being used as an instrument to stop you from having new relationships in a time when you're changing, because these relationships that are coming around are not of God. They're not designed for you. What they are doing is, what God's doing is God's stagnating you, God's stalling you for a bit, because you're not ready to move forward just yet. So you have to be patient in your season of waiting. And let me tell you, I've gone through that. A lot of us have felt that it's not easy. You want to worry about money, you worry about all kinds of things, but you're being stagnated in this season. You're being stagnated. You got to wait. You got to wait for God to bring things to you. Now, I understand that sometimes people get tired. I could tell you, one of the first people that I see get tired is people who had to awaken first, or ascend first. Imagine ascending, and basically you have to play whatever role that has been decided for you to play. And in the meantime, your money's being held back, your breakthroughs are being held back, you're making just barely enough, you've been stripped of your old life and everything you used to know and everything that you used to have. Everybody feels that way. However, you have to wait, because there's dangers of not waiting. And like it says in the Bible in Revelations, I can't remember, I think it's Revelations 9, when the saints were crying and saying, how long will God not avenge their blood? God was basically saying, you need to wait until everybody else like you, all the other saints like you who have suffered, they also need to come to the place where you're at, and then together they bring everybody in. So it does suck for the first batch of people, and I've seen people fall by the wayside. I've seen whether it's tarot readers start working with karmic energies one by one. People get tempted by money. It's always money. They always get in with money. That story is very much not often told, and that's very sad. But, such is life. Everybody makes their own decisions. And, for me, I give my messages from a place of having to live it. So because I've had to live it, it's like I am the example. I've gone through it. But sometimes I don't understand for tarot readers how it is. Maybe they're reading other people's storylines and other people's energy, and maybe they're not personally involved in the reading because they're not the one who's experiencing it. Because sometimes I'm like, how can you read this and still end up in this trap? But you know what? I don't know. Everybody has their own situation, and I'm sure when you speak to spirit, maybe it's hard to, people confuse the voices, a billion percent, 100%. People confuse the voices and they think that they're being led by the Most High, and it's not. They're getting advice from something else. They're listening to something else. That's why I always say to people, I'm like, look, that's not a skill I personally would have, is to be able to be clairaudient. I'm good. Like, I'm good. I'm okay. It's okay. There maybe I don't have that direct communication in the way that tarot readers have, but can you imagine, like, these kind of energies? It's V2K basically, and I think a lot of the people that experience V2K have some sort of clairaudience for sure. I just feel like they definitely have clairaudience, and V2K is a part of that. I think these are people that don't yet believe in spiritual gifts or know about spiritual gifts, and there's something there's something to that, is all I'm gonna say. Sometimes I'll be online and it's so crazy. Today I saw this lady made this video, and she said she can see that everything's happening to her. It's obviously to push her back in an old relationship or an old situation. And she's like, I would prefer to unalive myself than ever go back to that situation. And I sat there and I was like, wow, so there's other people who feel like that? That's crazy. Do you know who you have to be for somebody to say they would rather not be alive at all than to be around you, and they mean it with conviction and passion? Like, that has to be one of the hardest insults I've ever heard. That would hurt my feelings, like, deeply. Like, I feel like, what? It's not, this is worse. My worst example thus far was, they'll just leave you with everything. Like, people, listen, one of the coldest things I've ever seen people do is the go to the corner store to buy milk and never return thing, where they do not come back for their clothes, their ID. Well, they take their wallet, I guess, but like, they come back for nothing. They don't care. They don't need a divorce. They don't need closure. They don't need to talk about it. They don't care. That to me was the worst. But when that lady said, I'd rather unalive myself, and the worst part was I related to it. Like, in my situation, there was no personal involvement with the gang stalker, but it was like, I would do anything to just, if I could snap my finger and know that people like that don't exist. Like, it's like just the mere experience, I feel like, has tainted my soul, because I came in contact with it, because I experienced it. I'm not talking about pain. I'm not talking about cruelty. I'm not talking about that's not what I mean. I mean the sheer having entered that aura, knowing it is alive, it walks, it moves in a vessel. That experience has stained my robes. I will have to spend the rest of my lifetime washing my spiritual robes in bleach to purify me. Like when Kanye West said he needed 1,000 showers after sleeping with Amber Rose. It's like I need 1,000 showers. Spiritually, I feel like I need 1,000 showers in ammonia. Mix the bleach with something else. Like it's that, like, how disgusting. Oh my goodness. And that's the thing. People know they're living in that vessel too, so they know what their aura is. They know that this is what people experience when people experience them, for a fact. And from there breeds all the other crap that you see around you. From that place, the place of refusing to look in the mirror, because the longer you look there, the more you are disgusted of what you're seeing. This comes from a lot of crap. It doesn't matter what happened in your youth, and this is why. Understood that it didn't heal, understood that there's some behaviors there, understood someone will have PTSD, understood someone will be hurt and all of that. It's the part after, with the deliberate hurting of others. It's the making the choices. It's the not heeding God. This is the thing. And so this happens to all gang stalkers. They start off, who knows what leads a person to take that first offer. I'm gonna say money because I want to understand, and I still don't, but let's say it was money. Made you take the first step to say, I'm gonna be a gang stalker. As they continue to compound the evil, as the evil becomes normal, as they start feeling nothing and then they start enjoying it, that's when the entity is rooted deeply. It's taken over the vessel. It's now deriving energy from the vessel, a direct pipeline, and it's sucking in and it's sucking in. And now a person needs to hurt other people to feel alive, because this entity has taken the beauty of life. Simple things cannot be enjoyed. Whatever you traded for will not be enjoyed, whether it is the money, the houses. You cannot sleep with enough women. Now you gotta sleep with men. Now you gotta sleep with dogs. Now you gotta sleep with children. Now you gotta do all this extra. It keeps getting worse, and then one entity opens the door for the other ones, and it's like, this one is prime feeding ground, and then all the other entities start coming, and then it's like, this person's barely alive. Only the day that these things leave does a person actually sit there like a deflated version of themselves with their actions. I'm saying all of this because I've had friends I was friends with this girl, and this girl, it's like the way she would sleep around didn't make sense. When I say the way she would sleep around didn't make sense, I mean like if she met a guy, it's like she's the one pushing, not even the guy. It's not like she got taken advantage of. She is the pursuer in any situation that she's in. And it's like it would be to the point that I'd be like, something's really wrong here, because it's like that energy would override common sense. It would override responsibilities. It would override work. Like one day, it's a true story. So one day, she was at work, cashing a customer out, was flirting with the customer in front of her coworker, left work early to go sleep with the customer, and her coworker was trying to stop it. Like, her coworker was kind of like viewing it as if the guy was pouncing on her, but she was prime. And then she was telling me a story about how this guy just flat out told her like he had something, and I'm just like, you're not yourself. You're not your, like, this is supposed to be alarming to someone, but it's like she's so deep into it that she does not get, like, this is supposed to concern you, you know, like, then you got to go back to work. Look at that coworker, guaranteed has told somebody else, who's told somebody else by the morning. Like, these people are texting and talking about this, guaranteed. By the time she gets in the morning, the weird looks, the weird comments, the lack of respect, and then within 3 weeks it's going to be like, I hate my job because of the lack of professionalism shown on your job. A customer cashing out is insane. It's rather insane. Now, there are people who try to make this stuff normal in society, and they talk about it like, oh, I went on Tinder and I met somebody and we hooked up like 5 minutes. They shared their location. That should not be how that works. Like, that is not how that's supposed to work. For safety reasons, you don't know who this person is. Like, you can literally be a witch or a warlock, download Tinder, and just drain people's energy literally twice a day, 3 times a day, every day. Drain people's money, drain from them by just meeting people online who don't mind. And then not just drain them that first day, continue to drain them from there, because you don't actually need to be with them or around them after that. And just continue to live on people's energy. Y'all don't know that's what's happening? Okay, now you know. Okay, welcome to Hogwarts. Hogwarts? Welcome to Hogwarts. It's real. It's real. You might not want to believe it's real. You might say you don't believe in it, but I keep telling people on here, your belief in something does not validate it. It doesn't need your belief. It doesn't even know you. It doesn't care what you believe. The existence of the butterfly, it's not dependent on the caterpillar's belief. It doesn't matter. I was on the ground and now I'm in the air now. Now I'm seeing trees. Now I'm looking down. Now I'm looking up. I'm looking at birds. I want to be a bird next. I don't speak caterpillar anymore. This is where we got to get it to. As a team, people are here experiencing no growth and worrying about all the wrong things. You cannot try to be, listen, this is why there's different forms of intelligence. Nothing to be ashamed about. Some people are higher in some, than others, okay? But there are different forms of intelligence. There's different kinds. Yes, you can be cunning. Yes, you can be underhanded. Yes, you can outsmart people. Yes, short-lived little victories. Yes, you can get under people's skin. However, like my neighbor's mother used to say when I was growing up, she would say, you're always outside playing and you're following these kids and all of these kids are doing good in school. You're supposed to be inside doing your homework, focusing so you could catch up to the level that they're at. But instead of making her son accountable, she would say, these people are fooling you because they're all doing good and you're not doing good and you keep playing with them. But no, these kids don't need to study as much because maybe it comes easy to them. You have to think about you. You gotta think about you. As a gang stalker must ask oneself, what is my 5-year plan? Because these people have me kiki, hee-haw, everything is a joke. Where am I gonna be in 5 years? Where am I gonna be in 10 years? Am I still gonna be doing this for this money in this house? What am I doing here? But these are gang stalkers questions. You as a TI is supposed to be asking yourself, what am I gonna be doing in 6 months? What am I gonna be doing in 1 year? What am I gonna be doing in 5 years? Still on the internet making more videos about how I saw this and this happened and that happened, and I was walking on the sidewalk and I tripped on the crack and I fell, and it was gang stalkers. I went on the road and every car I saw was red. It's the gang stalkers. Oh my God, the gang stalkers. The gang stalkers. Hi, how are you? My name is A New Opportunity. Gang stalkers. I don't want to because it's gang stalkers. You're gonna get off this ride? You're just gonna stay on the ride? It's a loop. It's a death loop. It's the song that never ends. So, when does one begin the journey of getting off the ride? To me, I was like, immediately. And that didn't mean it worked immediately. The work started a long time ago. When I say walking the streets and looking past gang stalkers, looking, not noticing them, minding your business, that started a long time ago. When I say looking at the things that happen during your gang stalking journey and making sure that they're all treated the same, like coincidences. Because whether or not it's gang stalkers are throwing rocks and hiding their hands, and they want it to look like a coincidence. So why don't you look at it like a coincidence too? You are aware of what's going on. You are protecting your best interests. You are closing the door to chaos. You are monitoring all your accounts and looking at all your things and paying attention. You're doing all of that. At the same time, you're focusing on yourself and your future and your new beginning. We gotta stay focused on the things that matter. As a society, we do. They've used all the little gang stalking tactics that they use it in society at large. They start telling you about people's skin color instead of telling you what's in the food. Instead of telling you what's really going on. There's always some nonsense. And now you don't like a flower because it's yellow, and you don't like that flower because it's purple, and you don't like that flower because it's blue. What? How does this affect you tomorrow? How does this affect you at the end of the month? What race somebody else is? Like, to what end? People need to always ask at the end of every question, at the end of every idea you have, ask yourself, but to what end? Where is the ROI, the return on the investment? Where is it? To what end are we doing this? To what end are we engaging in this? To what end? There must be a purpose for what you're doing. You have to always look at the core of things, what makes sense at the end of the day, what is going to add to your future, what is going to benefit you. Always, every single, beautiful to educate people, because there are a lot of people coming into the gang stalking world, into the TI experience, and they don't know what gang stalking is. And that is lovely that people make content. Some people make good content that is very educational, that will give people insight, that makes sense, that will advance people. And then some people have come into a habit of making 15-second videos every day or whenever that simply just is complaining only about their situation. And for a moment, that is needed. It is a release. And then you gotta come to a point, hopefully very early on in your walk, where you say, a part of you, whether this is a part of you that announces it or not, there's no need to announce it, of course, but I hope everybody's at least having the thought, like, you must lay in bed one day and say, like, Lord, when am I gonna get out of this? Everything is one decision away. That doesn't mean that it's easy. It sounded easy, one decision away, but it's one decision away. I'm not dealing with this anymore. And then all the aligned action, all the action at the back of it follows. I am not dealing with this anymore. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It means you're not going to deal with it anymore. If you're saying to yourself, you're finding it difficult to be happy, granted, I'm not talking as like having not been a TI, been a TI. I don't identify. I call myself a TI for certain purposes, but I don't necessarily identify to the TI experience in the same way that I did before. I'm not dealing with that no more. I don't care. It doesn't mean that it doesn't stop. It means that this is gonna be part of the background if it has to be. It means that I'm in Rome. I found myself in a new country, a new state, a new city. Spiritually, I'm in new terrain. But thankfully, the gang stalking experience, the purpose of it was to teach you how to have the new beginning that you're going into, because these gang stalking behaviors, these targeting behaviors, these sabotaging behaviors are going to be part of the scenery wherever you're going. Once you experience spell work once for the first time, it means that spell work is a part of your future, my love. Do you think there's a day that you're not gonna know what spell work is? You think you're gonna go back to where you were before? You think you're gonna go back to a life where you don't know that this exists, you don't know that there's gang stalkers, you don't know that police are corrupt, you don't know this world works like this? Where? Do you want to get the little Men in Black pen? You want someone to zap you? You came online for a reason. You were asleep and you were in Avatar and you thought you were an avatar with them. And then you woke up and you're in the machine and they zapped you awake. You're actually a human on a spaceship. And you're not on Earth either, and you're somewhere out there, and you're on a spaceship, and you guys found a new tribe. And it's a weird thing when you wake up. I'm sure I'd wake up like, what? Where's my family? Listen, what is going on here? Both worlds are strange. The one you came from is strange. This one is strange. But you want the feeling of the other one. That's what you want. The feeling of familiarity, the feeling of safety, the feeling of happiness, of warmth. You gotta build it for yourself. You have to acclimatize to this new world. You got to get used to this. This is where you're at now. You're in a foreign land and you got to make it home. You got to make it safe. You got to start by building a fence, getting a foundation, building things together, putting things together, finding safety, shelter at night, food, metaphorically speaking. You cannot be in this world of gang stalking every day just complaining about the fact that you're here. You're here and you're here. What can you do? Like, what can be done about this? Who can change it? Who can change it? No one has come to help. I am disappointed when I see people are still going through that cycle. Not disappointed as looking down, because this is tough. I've had a lot of help. I've been very intentional about educating myself, making positive changes, sifting through information that I receive, building fortresses for myself to protect myself, etc., and growing through the experience. And very much a lot of the times listening to things that whether or not they're for me, I just like the idea because the idea makes sense, and adopting it. So this is what I offer to other people. I always ask people, take everything I say with discernment. I don't believe in spiritual leadership in the way other people do, because I think that people can set an example for you, and that is it. They don't need to talk to you. You don't need to come to their church all the time. You don't need to donate to them. You don't need to help them build things. It's my personal belief. This is not coming from God. It is my human personal belief. Why? So that we can take their egos away from them. We can get the help without feeding other people's egos. Because when that ego gets out of control, these people lash out and they demand the admiration, and then they start making crap up, good or bad. in alignment with the Most High or not, and people follow along because they've given this person the title. I remember I was watching something and the pastor had very good information. He really did, but I couldn't sit through it because he kept on camera almost like bullying the girls to like cheer him on. Like, a lot of preachers are like that. If the congregation is too quiet, it's like I'm not moving forward. He literally said, he's like, I'm not moving forward with this message unless I can hear you guys make some noise. What? See, and this is why I don't fit in these places, because I've been like, then don't give the message. Why do you need my validation? It's like they're quiet because they're listening. They're quiet because they're taking it in. And you should be working for it. If anything, if you really want the applause, work for it, at least with the message. You can't just bully them. But this is what happens. This is what happens. People tend to feel that they're superior to other people because they've been put in a certain position, and then they end up leading people astray. And that is very scary, because as a TI, you're really looking for information, especially if you're going through an ascension alone. It's not like you're in some sort of group that's going to help you through it. And these people are accepting peanuts or the promise of peanuts to put you in horrible life or death situations. And they have, with the gifts that they have, the ability to pull some cards on the energy, pull some cards on the situation, talk to God about it, and they don't. So it's like, you gotta really be careful. So I don't care if somebody has all the spiritual abilities in the world. It means nothing if you have no integrity. It doesn't make you a leader. It makes you somebody who God regrets giving gifts to. That's it. It makes you somebody who they're gonna have to take care of later. They're gonna have to clean you up later and clean up the messes that you've left behind you. That's what it makes you. So I don't believe in the spiritual leadership, the spiritual teacher thing. I say everybody take it with a grain of salt. Take it, pray on it, sleep on it, mull on it, wake up tomorrow, see if it works for you, see if it fits for you. And if it doesn't, you can take the parts that you like from the messaging, leave the other parts. It's nothing to do with me. It's nothing personal. It's not, it's not about the person, it's about the message. Like, put it that way. It's nothing to do with the person, because this person is a human like you. And when people give spiritual messages, they are attacked 1,000 times harder than how you think you're being attacked. People who give spiritual messages have demonic entities outside and around their home at all times. And the only reason they're not inside is because of how they protect their space. People who have spiritual gifts and are going through ascensions like TIs, the reason the demons are inside is because you don't know how to protect your space. You haven't connected the dots that, well, if they're using witchcraft and it's working and I'm getting sick and they're using energy, the next thought should be, well, what is the solution to that? I have a solution I know what numbers to dial if there's a crime. I know what to do if I get physically ill. I know what to do if I need something from the supermarket or to eat. But what do I do about witchcraft? What do I do about spell work? We got to connect the dots. Always finding solutions. Always jumping over hurdles. Recognizing that in the gang stalking journey, a roadblock, it's not a hurdle, it's not an issue. Rename it. Take off the sign that you have as roadblock and put a new one that basically says opportunity for growth. Opportunity for growth. And does that not sit better in your spirit? Of course it does. So now, instead of being at a situation where the gang stalkers have stopped something or blocked something, it's an opportunity to grow past that situation. It is an opportunity now to say, I can do better than this. Why do I have to stay at this level anyway? Let me go above it. Let me find another way that I can still have the thing that I want, that I can still go in the direction that I want, that is not gonna be blockable. Because if a gang stalker can block it, then anybody else can block it with intention, with the right sort of determination. So let the gang stalking experience train you on where you have gaps. Like these multi-million-dollar corporations that put a piece of software out, and then they say, we want the best hackers to come here and hack our product. And if you successfully hack it, we will pay you $1 million. On the condition that you tell us exactly how you got in. Whatever they're paying these people, it's not necessarily a loss to them, because it would have been a free-for-all if they put it on the open market, because these people already still exist. These people are not going to come with the solution. They're going to take it to the black market. They're going to take it to the dark web. They're going to do it themselves. They're going to hold them ransom. They're going to access their client list, their client database with 1 million people valued at, let's say, 10 billion over the next 10 years. $1 million is a drop in the bucket to secure that problem. And to then also know who could pose that problem to your organization. You think when they give you the $1 million, you're just gonna disappear and go live somewhere else and they're never gonna hear about you ever again? They're gonna have their eyes on you forever. They're gonna know. They're gonna have your stuff booby-trapped. This is how you gotta start thinking about your life. You are not in Kansas anymore. If a gang stalker can do it to you, why do you want to move forward with that kind of liability on your hands? Why? Do you think that hacking your cell phone was hard? That's not hard hacking. That's not groundbreaking. They find these people on Instagram. They find these people in India. Hell, you could go find one. This is not like groundbreaking stuff. So anybody can hack you. You have to find some sort of solution to something, but you can't just sit here and cry about being hacked if you can neither come to terms with it or do something about it. If you can't do anything about it, you need to come to terms with it and limit your liability. I'm using the hacking as one thing, but what about the street theater? What about the mobbing? What about the mobbing on the street? What about everything else? You got to sit down, and if you're a strategic person, write it all down, draw an arrow, and kind of brainstorm some solutions to this thing that will bring you back to a state of peace and alignment in your life. From this peace and alignment, you can start to feel like yourself again. You can start to build bridges to the future, because even the future is not going to be instantaneous. You need to come into the vibration of the future. You need to come into the feeling of the future. You need to come into the feeling of merging the past lessons with the desire for where you want to be. The two need to meet. And when they finally meet, when you get that vibration, you have it solid, down pat, fixated, then it begins to come. So all of it takes time, and you got to start. You have to start. Just start the journey with the first step of deciding that enough is enough, because enough is enough. Excuse me. It's shocking to me that all the gang stalking information does not follow the other topics, like the way other topics are. So if you look at topics about childhood trauma, let's say, there are gonna be way more therapeutic videos on healing, videos on moving forward, therapeutic videos than there are of regurgitating and reliving and rehashing the childhood trauma story. Because it is understood that by continuing to talk about the childhood trauma, you re-victimize the person over and over and over. They have to think about it, play it in their head, remember the feelings, and energetically stay in that place. And so what you want to do is you want to take them to a place where they're looking at solutions that they can walk into. They're looking at therapeutic ways that they can get over it, ways that they cannot ignore it and stuff it down, but they can purge it, they can heal it, they can have healthy relationships again, they can go through their process. And people who've healed will, they'll say things like, it took me 2 years, it took me 3 years, it took me this much time, because they can actually measure the time period between when they said they didn't want to go through this anymore, when they decided some way, some shape that they were going to move on from it, to where they are now, feeling healed, healthy, and whole. Again, because we have the ability to do that spiritually and mentally. And so look at how long you've been a TI and ask yourself, have I even had that conversation with myself? Or if I have had that conversation, have I stuck to it? Have I remained committed, truly committed, and just never, ever, ever going back? Am I worried about a year from now, 2 years? How am I going to get there? Worrying about the journey? How am I going to make it? Blah, blah, blah. Or am I willing to take the first step and use chewing gum to hold it together, and then duct tape, and then, glue, and then finally what it probably needs, and that's going to take time. But am I willing to take the first step? Am I truly going to decide? Am I going to do what I say that I'm supposed to be doing? And if you haven't decided, the moment you decide to do that, your life is going to, whether you feel it or not, in the background, there's going to be a shifting of the tiles all over the place, and you become in alignment. And what starts happening is you start incurring what you would call hurdles, what I used to call hurdles, and now we're going to call them growth opportunities, opportunities for change. You start incurring them one after the other, after the other, after the other. They increase in intensity and in difficulty. They push you past your limit, because your current limit is not your full potential, so it hurts. It hurts. If you can run half a mile, running 0.6 mile, let's say, is gonna hurt a little bit, but you can't get to a full mile without crossing over that half mark, and you gotta keep pushing it. This is how it works. Growth in all aspects of your life works the exact same way. So you gotta get to the point that you experience all of these challenges as an opportunity for growth. So I went to find a job, and this happened. Somebody said something that was gaslighting, and this happened. This happened, and it triggered me. The triggers are opportunity for healing. How do I heal this? Because it's bringing out the wrong side. It's the triggers pulling me back, but I would like to launch myself forward. So you have to get to a point where, why is people smiling on the road pissing me off? Making me feel fearful, making me feel intimidated. Why does that piss me off? Are people not allowed to smile on the road? Did they rob me? Did they take money out of my pocket? Did they physically hurt me? Did they say anything? Okay. If the answer is no, and it is, then what can I do to take away its power? Because I assigned it that power. I assigned it that power. I gave it this importance. I go somewhere and they're smiling and they're looking at me and they're following me, but I gave it some importance. Now, is it ethical that they do it? These are the wrong questions. We know the answer to those questions, and it's valid. You saying that it's wrong, we shouldn't have to live this way, etc., it's fine. But that's how people live in Kansas, and you do not live there anymore, Dorothy. We're gone. We don't live there anymore. So where you are at now, you can only control yourself. And in your vessel, in your body, you have to say, you have to take away the power you've assigned people following you around, because it's going to happen. People are going to send you spell work without your permission. They're going to come in your energetic field without your permission. They're going to send entities to you without your permission. What can you do? I don't like them in my space. You got to do the work to get them out. You got to do the work to keep them out. You got to do the work to make your space a hostile environment. Because they can do it. Other people can do it. You're gonna endure more people in your life that are gonna send you spell work. Why? Because they just simply don't like you. They don't like anything about you. They don't like what you represent. The spirits on them do not like the spirits on you. The spirits on them are in war with the spirits that are on you. Your spirits are relaxed. Their spirits like problems. That's it. That's all they need. And now all of a sudden you just went to the beach, and all of a sudden now you're throwing up all night because somebody threw you evil eye across the table on vacation. Now the whole rest of your vacation is ruined. But you got to get to the point where you realize that spell work is happening. It's happening around you, and I might need to know how to protect myself no matter where I go. I might need to anticipate that this is how it is wherever I am now. I don't have a name for it. But wherever you are now, this is how it is here, because you know that it exists. So every time on your journey, after you have decided that you are willing to do whatever it takes to get out of this place, out of this problem, once you've decided that, and all the growth opportunities come as they will, as they must, as they should, these opportunities for growth are not hurdles to hold you back or stop you. These opportunities for growth are simply a way to teach you the lessons that you need to learn in order to leave. In order to get to the next step, you need all of these lessons. If there are 10 lessons back here, 10 opportunities for growth, you need all 10 for over there. So let's talk about it. The hacking. You're going to a world where people hack people all the time, okay? You already were in a world where people hacked people all the time. You just didn't know. Hackers, they always have the symbol of the hood because they don't want you to know that they're hacked. Usually hackers don't do anything but watch and take information. The fact that these hackers let you know that they're hacked is because they want to put fear in you. They want to make you feel monitored. Number 2, feeling monitored. That's another opportunity for growth. Maybe you're going somewhere where there's a lot of scrutiny. You're going somewhere where people use knowledge as information. You're going somewhere where as you walk through the hotel cameras are recording you because they're excited that you're in their hotel and you need to conduct yourself a certain way, or you need to send paperwork before you get there that they're not going to keep any footage of you on their cameras. And then you need to do this, and maybe that's what you're going into. Who knows? But whatever it is, feeling monitored better just be your regular state of being. It better be your regular state of being because it's not changing for a reason. We're in boot camp now. 4, being mobbed on the street. Maybe that's just how it's gonna be moving forward. You gotta get used to it. If God wanted it to change or dissipate, it would, but it's not. You gotta just come to terms with it. 5 or 4, sabotage in all your endeavors. Maybe you're going to a place where this is what happens to people like you. Everywhere you go, you're gonna be sabotaged. Somebody's gonna try something, and so now you need to come to terms with it. Whatever it is that you're going through, you gotta scale over it. You gotta scale that wall, or you're gonna be stuck here. You're gonna be stuck here. It's like going for a walk and then standing at the end of, like, let's say the mile that you walked, and then you're like panicking about, like, you have another mile to walk back home. But this walk is called getting back home. The forward walk was one thing, But wherever you are, you need to get back home. You're not just there for no reason. Like, you gotta get back somewhere, or to somewhere. This is where we're at now. We've been pulled very far out of our comfort zone. So we gotta get somewhere, and stopping here is, you did not come this far to just stop right here. You gotta keep pushing forward. So this is the first half of what I have to say. This live is actually about spiritual warfare. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, I hope, and I know that it's not true, that most people who believe in some spiritual entity, you believe in a God, and most people believe that their God is the Most High God, hopefully, I think. And if we think about the universe, if we think about the Creator, and we think about a Most High God, then God would be the creator of all things, somebody would say. And when you say all things, it's easy to defend. Like, okay, if God's the creator of all things, the grass, yes. The sky, yes. Out of space, yes. The angels, yes. Humanity, yes. What about demons? Who created the demons? Who created Satan? Did Satan create itself? Is that possible? What about hell and everything there? Is God also the creator of that? Does God also reign there? Is God also ruler there as well? Or does it rule itself? Or like, what happens there? This is the part that people don't want to, I don't know, they don't talk about. So I don't know what people's feelings are on it. But obviously, if we have come to the conclusion that God is more powerful than lower entities, if we've already accepted that God rules over all, and a lot of people believe that God can save you from these demonic energies, if we believe that, and God is the creator of all things, then why do we look at like demons in the way that we do? And why do we think about like lower dimensional things in the way that we do? Because we tend to separate it like just good, just evil. Let me explain to you in another way. Like, I'll hear women say they want a good man. And I've always said there's no such thing as a good man or a bad man. That man is being who he chooses to be in that moment. And it's not you as a woman necessarily that, yes and no. Like, as a woman, maybe you might bring that part out of him. Maybe he likes something about you. He knows he doesn't have the option to do that with you. So he decides, I'm going to change for this person, right? Because this person is something that I want. But that's not really it. At the end of the day, it's like it's the version of himself that he chooses to give you. A good man is a bad man, and a bad man is a good man. It's the same thing. It's just a man. What part of him does he choose to work to give you? Because some people are worth the effort of putting your best foot forward, and some people, it's like, I don't have to do that. Like, a good man, a man who's a good man to one woman, is telling another woman, I don't have to answer that question for you. I don't owe you anything. You're not my, like, it's not the same. It's not the same treatment. Treatment is very important for people to understand. People's behavior, the effort that they put towards you, it's very important to understand, because energy is worship. When someone directs energy at you, it's worship. We worry too much, is it good energy or bad energy? But it doesn't matter. The energy that someone gives you is their worship of you. So there are some things that it's worth it to do, And some things that it's like you have to drag your feet to get it done. It's just how much importance you put on that thing. So that's why it hurts some people to see this person gave the best of themselves. Like, there might be a woman, say a man doesn't even give her as much money, but the pedestal he puts her on, the love he gives her, the way he thinks of her, the way he treats her is different than somebody else who he could care less about, like in any other way, could just care less. And then it will hurt the person who's tolerated less, was okay with less. Now all of a sudden they're hurt because they thought this person was a bad person, and now they're realizing maybe I didn't know what this person or who this person was completely. The fact is that we are all both. It's like if somebody tells you a bad thing about me, I'm a horrible person, I could be horrible to them, but be an amazing person to other people. It's both. We are our shadow and we are our light side. We have both. We choose which one we want to feed more. We choose which one bows to the other one. We choose which one is at the mercy of the other one. It's not that they both aren't activated, but one tells the other one to stop and it listens. Does your dark side tell your light side to stand down, not be loving, not be kind, not be compassionate, and it listens and it lets your dark side run off? Or does your dark side have to listen to your light side when it says, yes, I had to defend myself, but now it's time to stop. Now it's done. Now I can walk away from it. Now the point is proven. Which one do you feed more? Which one is in control? Because people are not just bad or good. Even entities are not just bad or good. It depends on what aspect of them you're calling upon, for what purpose and why. Because even the Most High, in order to protect you, does so by means which inflict pain on another. It is an aspect. We must look at spirituality in the exact same way. It is an aspect. The second thing that we have to do is try really hard, not always easy for me, is try really hard to look at challenging experiences, difficult experiences as growth opportunities. I might even have to change the name of this live now. Growth opportunities. Because you will sit back here and I ask God all the time, why do you let these people exist? Why are they still here? Why do you let them move around with this freedom? Why do they inflict this pain on people? Why are you letting this happen? Why does the world have war? Why are things happening? Why are children being taken advantage of? Why? Because we want the world to be just all good, all lovely, all pleasant, all the time. Truly, everything works in tandem. Everything works together for the greatest good. So when there is pain, when there is suffering, when one experiences the dark side of a situation, the dark side of something, it is an opportunity to grow. It is an opportunity to grow. And if they navigate that opportunity in the correct way, if they don't squander it, if they keep at it, if they push themselves to be a better version, to grow, to blossom from it, that person is gifted a more potent version of happiness, a more rich experience than people who have not gone through that hardship. Let me give you an example. If you've been gang stalked in the streets, if you've been mobbed in the streets, and you get on the streets one day after being gang stalked and there are no gang stalkers, Other people are just walking around on their phone, no appreciation for what this is. What is this right here on the streets? And there's no one's bothering me after what I've been through. Listen, when you get on the streets, you inhale the sunshine. If you could inhale the whole outside into your lungs, you would, and breathe it out. Every 10 seconds, you're like experiencing life with something that people do not appreciate because they've never lost it. They've never lost it. When you've been with someone abusive, when you've been through abuse, when you've been in toxic relationships and you receive your first true love relationship, it is mind-blowing. Every sensory organ on your body is exploding all the time. Is it real? Could it be? Should I even invest in this feeling? What if it goes away? It's a lot because you're experiencing it at a higher intensity than the person who's only had loving relationships. The person who's only had loving relationships, quite frankly, expects all of this stuff that you are over the moon about. Honesty, integrity, not cheating, coming home every night, whatever it is that, somebody's gone through that you think is mind-blowing, that, oh my God, thank you that people like this exist. This person's like, that's the bare minimum that should be happening here. This is a bonus, not the purpose, but a bonus, a prize that comes at the end of personal growth. Because without the healing, you're not getting no true love. Without the healing, a person who's capable, a partner like that, you think they don't know their value on the dating market? You think they don't know that they don't cheat, they don't lie, they're gonna treat you good, you're gonna be really happy, this is a peaceful aura? You think that this person's going to tolerate even 0.1% of your toxicity? This is a person who will sniff your BS from across the football field and disappear into the wind forever. You will be stuck with the memory of what you fumbled. And no matter how many of them God sends to you, you are not ready because you are not healed. They don't even come into, it's like they're in a bubble, and if they're going this way, it's like, and you're over there, their spirit guide is gonna toss them all the way on the other side because they're like, no, there's unhealed people here, because vibrationally, you're not a match. The opportunity for growth, if you stop at the hurdle and you miss the opportunity for growth, the opportunity for healing, the opportunity for advancing into something bigger and better and more amazing, if you miss this opportunity here, you are not going to meet better than where you're at. You're not going to do better. This hurdle is going to stay here until you scale it. You just stop. It's like a video game. You just stop. Of all the places in the multiverse that you want to get stuck, it's not in this cycle. I don't care which side of the what team you feel like you want to be on. You want to be on the Gang Stalkers team. You want to be on the TI team. It doesn't matter. None of us want to be stuck here. This is not where we want to be stuck. We want to get the hell out of here. Binded to this place? What? You want to keep reliving this? Come on now. Lace your shoes up. Leave everything. You cannot jump hurdles. You cannot grow. You cannot scale mountains. You cannot keep moving forward, carrying all these bags behind you. The abandonment wounds, the betrayal wounds, the who hurt me, the what I lost. We gotta go. I have this picture. It's from the Maze Runner and that movie, The Maze Runner, and the kids are running up a hill. Do you think you could do that with bags? Probably, but you know, something's chasing them. They're running from something. You gotta run light. You gotta be light. You gotta be agile. You gotta be quick on your feet, quick to move. Somebody says something to you, okay, thank you, no problem. Somebody does, no problem. This didn't work, no problem. They took that, keep it. That friend no problem. That one doesn't want to work with you, no problem. You're like this. Get out of my way. I'm not staying here. I am not staying here. I don't care what it takes, what I lose, nothing. I'm not staying here. This is not where you want to stagnate. This is not the place that you want to say, I don't want to grow. Growing is too hard. This is too difficult. Hair? Why didn't you do that 5 years ago? Like, hair? This is not the place for pit stops. Don't even stop to drink water here. Don't, nothing. T.I. shouldn't be dating. T.I. shouldn't be making friends. T.I. shouldn't be looking for moral support outside of God. T.I.'s, your life is being stagnated as you are being prepared with growth opportunities to launch you into your highest timeline. And that is it, and that is all. This is the message. You are being launched into bigger and better things. And you'll say, well, I don't believe it. Well, you better believe something positive, because they have you believing everything negative. This is not how growth happens. This is not how the amazing happens. This is not how you move out of here. It's by thinking, well, how am I going to get out? Do you remember praying for things that actually happened? Why did you let go of that feeling? Because that's real. Praying for things that actually happen is real. It's real. So, might be a good time to pray. Might be a good time to believe in the unknown. Believe that something's going to save you and get you out of here. Just believe. Just believe it. It's not about the reality. It's not about knowing how, where, who, when. It's not about that. It's not about that. Hope is potent. If they could put hope in a bottle, they would be they would make money on it. It's powerful. Just hope. Hope that I'm gonna get out of it. Hope that I'm gonna grow from it. If you don't want to believe that you can get out of it, you can definitely grow from it, from every single experience, every single hurdle, every single trial. I went to the hospital and they called me crazy and what. Listen, they were calling Albert Einstein crazy. They called Nikola Tesla crazy. They called presidents crazy. Nobody cares. Who cares? They're calling Trump crazy. He's still living better than you and I. People have to talk. It's free to talk. It's what is not free is doing the work. Do you think that just because the whole world hates you and your last name is Trump is going to stop you from going shopping for a new suit, to get in front of a camera, to talk to people, even though they're booing? You're looking at the bigger picture, the White House, the big seat. You're not getting in there to make any changes. You're getting in there to tap into power, to make connections, to make things blossom. Hell, let them throw more apples. You're asking your PR, should I catch the apples? Should I dodge it? What should I do? And you and the PR in the back practicing when they send the apple, oh no, oh they hurt me, or oh I caught the apple, oh let me kiss the baby, oh let me shake the old lady's hands, oh let me go see the veterans and get on my knees. They have pictures of these people. Well, I don't know if it's true, I wasn't there. Trying on a woman's dress before going to a rally about being anti-transvestite or whatever. Personal feelings do not matter here. Keep your eyes on the prize. You gotta leave here. You gotta get out of here. Yes, we've understood gang stalking. Some people are walking encyclopedias about gang stalking, and I applaud that because they really give a lot of good information that other people can come and use. Amazing. Thank you for your service. Maybe this is their mission in life, and where they should be is to help others in that capacity. But for those of us who feel like this does not resonate with my soul, it doesn't feel good, keep your eyes on the big prize, the big ball, the gold medal, the trophy. What is the trophy? Your future. Somebody's going to offer you $30,000 a month to trade for $30 million a year. I'm making it up. I don't know. Because I'm not leaving gang stalking to do nothing mediocre. If you can leave gang stalking, you are a king. You are a queen. If you leave gang stalk, like if you could walk out of this freely, like I believe people like Jay-Z left this kind of thing because he was in the drug game. The drug game doesn't want anybody to leave. If you could do this kind of thing, you should not be trying to just be like, go. This is back there. Back there, you were like a mechanic and like a plumber and like I don't know what the hell, you know, whatever people were doing. With me, a store owner, that was back there. Moving forward, nothing mediocre about this is happening. And there are those who do not approve with my messages of being extremely cold with people who enter my energy with the wrong intentions. And that is their personal concern. Do not make the mistake that I will defend myself. That's it. Don't care. Don't care who you are. Don't care what you're talking about. Don't care who you serve. But like, don't do it. That's it. Some people don't like it. They think it's like Christianity where people have to put up with like BS. This is not that. And everybody has their personal beliefs, and that's okay. We gotta learn boundaries. Where we are going, we need to learn boundaries. We need to learn stopping people in their tracks. There are vultures out here who will feast on your dry bones. Like, this is not a game. That needs to be taken seriously. This is one of the lessons on the path of being a TI. Depending on yourself, still pushing forward despite setbacks, despite disappointments, despite things falling around all around you, despite all kinds of things, and fighting long battles, not short battles, not battles that are easy to wave a magic wand, battles where money is not going to save the day. This is what TIs have to learn to do. We're too focused on, is it easy, and not as much focused on, is it possible? And it is very much possible. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. So now that we've established energies are not just good or bad, they are both. People are both good people and bad people. It depends on what they decide to be. Don't take it personally when someone has made a personal decision to feed the bad part of them. That is not you can't control it. You gotta let it be. I struggled a lot with it myself, with how can people gang stalk and whatever, and then I found out why, and it's like, okay, well, you know what? It's a personal decision on their part. It's their way of living, what they chose to do. But here's what has happened for me is I've learned quite a bit from experiencing this. I've learned a lot. These are very valuable lessons that, to be honest, I'm grateful to have some of them. One of my lessons I'm most grateful for is protecting my peace and my boundaries. Because this was when I used to feel bad for the other person that had to shut them down, and this person was coming to eat me alive. It's not everything that a person does that I react to, but they just don't know which action is going to cause a reaction that they're going to regret. And that's the thing. So it's not that I'm letting things slide by telling you don't play into the nonsense. It's that there are times where it's worth it to react, because you got to set that up as a boundary that should not be crossed. Touching your things and tampering with your things and changing your things and like stealing and like all of that, like, yeah, you got to cut an arm off for that. You got to make somebody's life hard for that. You got to make someone remember that. So there are things that, yes, you absolutely need to defend, no matter what people say. No matter what people say. That's their opinion. You need to preserve yourself, survive, live out here. If God had a problem with it, God would stop you in your tracks and say, no. This is not what we do here. But you must understand, you can't let people get away with everything. Some of the things that they're getting away with, TIs can do something about it. And some of the other things, you can't do anything about it because they're not violating you with this behavior in a way that is punishable by law. Just gotta let some of it go and let it not affect you and just let it be what it is and respond in such a way that people know, don't try it again. That's all. That's all you can do. And you sift through it and you do the hard work. And one of the hardest things you're gonna have to do is get over this behavior, because this is childish and annoying and you didn't birth these people, and here you are, you have to deal with this. But you gotta find a way for it not to like suck your energy down every time you deal with it. You gotta find a way to overlook it. And for me, the way I deal with it, honestly, is I'm like, this is what it's like to be me. This is just what it's like to have my life. This is the life I'm living now, and there's nothing that I can do about it. It's like my go-to thought now. As soon as something happens, I'm like, well, I guess this is how it's gonna be. Because this is how it is. That's it. There are many TIs that just don't talk about it. You must know that every celebrity is a TI. You must know that every spiritual leader is a TI. Every whistleblower is a TI. Every government official becomes a TI. The TI experience is not just restricted to us, like we're a special class. We might be a different class of TIs. The celebs are a different class. There's different groups, but one and the same behaviors, same afflictions. The only difference is they were prepared for it. Well, I don't know if they were prepared for it. They got used to it. And when they got there, somebody said to them at some point, like, this is normal, buddy. You can't go out there and talk about that. Don't talk about that. This is normal. This is what they do. The public hates you. It's part of your job. Let me tell you what I saw. In my city, our mayor, was there a mayor? No, not the mayor. I forget what official this was. He's this guy in office that everybody does not like. He's the classic, like, school principal archetype, like his character. And he was in his office with his feet kicked up on the desk reading a newspaper. And the picture was of a smashed egg on the window, him with the newspaper, looking over the newspaper at the egg. And I promise you in my soul, I'm telling you, this guy was 0% fazed, bothered, didn't give a damn. I screenshotted that picture. It meant so much. I'm like, this is acceptance. This is self-acceptance. This is acceptance of your situation. This is just, He doesn't care if y'all like him or not. That man's feet in business hours were on the desk, leaned back in the business chair reading a newspaper. This is the aura of someone who doesn't have work to do, but they just had to show up here for the day. This is a person who could care. You liking them or not liking them changes nothing. The check is still gonna clear. We're still going golfing at 12. We're still having strippers in the hotel room tonight. And I'm gonna show back up here tomorrow morning to waste taxpayers' dollars. And I don't care how many eggs you throw out this window. That's what that picture read to me. And I would have to post the picture for you to see what I'm saying. He doesn't care. This is how you have to be in gang stalking. Gang stalkers have to throw eggs at your window, and you gotta be looking over the blueprint of your life like this. Like, he didn't even have a scowl. He was like nothing. This man was just like, but without the knotted eyebrows or nothing. Like, this must happen every day for the last 10 years. That's how it was. It was like the coffee machine like going off, where the sound is so regular you might miss it. This is how you gotta go through gang stalking. You cannot go through gang stalking being affected, upset so easily. It's taken so long for me to get here. Maybe long to me, but maybe not as long in the grand scheme of things. But this was the point of the journey. So now that I have evolved past this, I get to be a butterfly and fly away. Not because God came and cut me out necessarily, yes, to some degree, to a lot of degree, but because the real work lies with me. So all the time that we're sitting here and we're like, God's gonna do it, God. Yeah, but you gotta regulate yourself. You gotta self-regulate. You gotta learn these lessons. You gotta be able to control yourself. You gotta be able to heal. You gotta grow. You gotta move past things. You gotta learn. You gotta keep learning. You gotta keep asking questions, being curious, experimenting, being teachable, getting rid of your ego, not doing this, not doing that, blah, blah, blah. Like on and on and on and on and on and on. It has been lesson after. And as soon as one lesson is done, it's like, whoop, new one. That one's done, a new one, a new one, a new one. And they're harder and harder and harder until all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I was gliding, figure skating through the same behavior, in a lot of ways, worse behavior than where we started the gang stalking journey. Gracefully figure skating through things that would agitate a saint. Because not only have I been through it long enough, but I've made a conscious decision that this is not one that is worthy of my attention. This is not one that is expensive enough for my anger. This is not one that deserves a reaction. If this has gotten to me, then what is it? An opportunity for me to say to myself, I could do better than this. I can do better than this. If they come into my house and they touch my things and they steal my things and they move it around, then maybe I need to find a way for them not to be in my house. Solution. That will never be an issue again. And then on and on and on and on and on and on and on, and you go from there and you go from there and you go from there. And then one day, the effort that it took to do all of that becomes easier. The effort, it happens all of a sudden. It happens all of a sudden. It's like working out. You never see yourself lose weight. But one day you try something on, you're like, whoa, it's too big. Or this, my old jeans fit, or whatever. It's like magically it happens. And now you're a skinny person again. And that's it. It's magical. You put the conscious effort in to put this behind you, and then one day you wake up and you're feeling it. You feel it. And every day you feel it more and more and more and more and more. And so this is what it feels like on this side. When they send a hurdle in your way, First of all, you do not start things like you used to before, hoping that someone wouldn't bother you. You make sure that what you're doing, you do your research, and you make sure that what you're doing has as little potential for sabotage as possible. So you do your own sort of preparedness. So when they send that predictable thing that you knew was going to happen because you prepared for it, you just pull your solution out of your pocket and you give it the medication. You medicate the situation right there. And so what would have normally been a big blow up, oh my goodness, I knew this was gonna happen, and blah blah blah, and this huge reaction is minimized to a mere annoyance that you're gonna brush out of your way and continue doing what it is that your plan was for the day, what it is that you set out for the day to do. You get this out of your way quickly. Whatever it is for you, office gossip, whatever it is that has made your life difficult, these are the things you need to write down on the paper, and these are the things you need to find the solutions for, so you can set yourself free, create enough calm to move forward. But you cannot stay here. We got to go. The process of going is not fun. The process of growing and getting out of here is learning all the things you wrote on the paper, what they represent, what they mean, all these triggers, all these roadblocks, one by one, combing through them to get over this hump. I can never get away from these people. I can never do anything in privacy. I can never have anything to my... Yes, you can. If you work on every single one. If you close every single one by one, by one, by one, by one, by one, you can get there. You can get there. You can get there. Little by little, you can get there. Some of these problems, I've gone over them 5 or 6 times before I've gotten the solution. But boy, when you get that solution, and you even plan past that solution. If this happens, I'm doing that. If that happens, I'm doing that. Because I can't let go of this. I cannot let go and allow this thing to continue. That's what you got to do strategically, bit by bit. And you can do, of course you can do it. It's your life. You have nothing but time. Nothing but time. And then you're going to get out of here. You're going to fly out of here. When you get out of here, this is your ascension, your spiritual ascension. People tend to think of this spiritual ascension too much, too witchy. A spiritual ascension is the growth of the spirit. It's the spirit doing the work, making the choice to do the work. The work to stop the gang stalking and escape them. The work to get away from the gang stalkers and being gang stalked by them. And that is the same thing. Because you're going to be gang stalked as a TI and as a gang stalker. But it is the hard work of the healing, of the growing, of the not being mad when the problems come up. And when I say I don't really consider myself like a teacher, it's because I'm going through it. I have gone through it. I will continue to go through it. To have to do my work, to have to keep aligned, to have to keep on my toes, to have to... So I am the same as everyone else. If anything, I'm just reaching back and saying, hey, we're going the wrong way. It's this way. Don't go there. It's this way. Where you're going is predictable, logical behavior. To keep going on that wheel, it's predictable and it's logical, but it's still the wrong way. The right way is to walk back out, get out of here, not go deeper with your attention to it, with giving your energy to it. It's going the other way. When you get your ascension, I've just basically described to you how to ascend. The spiritual ascension that people love so much to talk about, that everybody wants, is in the work. We don't have just one spiritual ascension. We continue to ascend here all the time. All we do is ascend, 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 ascend. That's why they say life is a university. We keep ascending, going higher, being worthy to be where the angels are, where God is, where the light is, where the love is, where the happiness is, where the hope is. And if you're up there, then you're definitely not down there with them. You're ascending out of your situation. You're removing yourself from this chaos. It's chaotic. All of this happens. You spiritually ascend, you've done the work, you've passed the tests. Because there are always, I hate tests myself, there's always a test that is here to see if you really learned your lesson. You said that you'd have no more triggers. You learned all these lessons. You took all these growth opportunities. We're going to send you the biggest trigger you have ever experienced in your life. We're going to hit you where it hurts. The one thing that you really care about, that's where we're coming. So that's what gang stalkers do. Let me tell you something. I'm going to explain something to you about gang stalkers that you have not considered. Gang stalkers are the sort of people that like to keep aces up their sleeve. All of the things they're doing to you, they have things that they've saved. They have the biggest things, they've saved it. They saved those things. They're going to drop it at the end. Those truths that are going to really cut into you, those things that happened that you don't know about, that they can tell that you don't know about it. No, save that one. Somebody said, no, save that one. We're gonna drop it on her when it's public so we can get the reaction, so we can see it. That's how gang stalkers are. You have to be prepared for demonic activity always ready to pass another test. God does not say to you, I'm gonna stop the test. God says, I want you to have strength to pass any test, because where you're going is gonna be so sweet that these people are going to test you. They're gonna test your commitment to this blueprint, to this plan that we discussed. They're gonna send apples at you on stage, and you're gonna say the wrong thing and forfeit the president's chair in the White House, when you should have just let the apple hit you in the face and go to the doctors and laugh at it. Don't let them take your future from you with this BS they're doing, but always be prepared for the worst. Always be prepared for the worst. And you know me, I'm a person, I've worked out my entire life. So when I think of this, I think about working out. There comes a certain point where your body's, you've conquered your body to a certain degree with your workout. So as you're working out, your body's no longer holding you back. Now you're trying to sculpt it. So you're light on your feet. You can move it around. You're not out of breath just by running a little or jumping a little or whatever. So when you push yourself and you make the weights heavier, or you do all of this stuff, when you push yourself that hard, it's like you don't sit to rest. As hard as you're breathing, you're still on your feet. And you take a shorter rest because you got to get back in there. And what you're feeling is not fighting the pain. What you're feeling is not running from the pain. What you're feeling is like, let's go back. You're hungry to go back for more, to do it over again, to get the maximum out of that workout. That's where you sculpt your body. So that's a second phase. It doesn't mean that the first phase is invalid, because without the first phase, the hard phase, the phase that you hated to go into the gym, the phase where they had to like bully you to go up 5 pounds on the weights, you were groaning and griping. You needed that phase to get to that phase where you're hungry for it. So that when you sit with someone and they're like, listen, I know you want to be prime minister or president, but I'm just going to tell you, like, These people are going to do so much stuff to you that you cannot believe. You're like, okay, so tell me about the White House. You're like, who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? You think enduring an apple is anything compared to sitting in a White House chair? You think enduring childish behavior from something that is here to train you is anything compared to where you're gonna go with your life, with what you're gonna do? And I don't care who you are and what your situation is. If you get through gang stalking, you're not allowed to go back to the Mickey Mouse stuff that you were doing before. You gotta think big, big. Not because I said so, not because it's a prophetic word, because it's common damn sense. Because you have skills that most people don't. These skill sets are skill sets for bigger things. This is the skill set of a president. This is a skill set of a star, a celebrity. This is a skill set of a very important person. This is not skill sets of mediocre people. You are built. Ford has to say that they're built you tough. We are built you tough. How tough is a Ford? Like you, not the other way around. This is not normal skill sets. So what do you mean you're gonna waste all that potential doing mediocre stuff? If anything, you're still gonna get gang stalked because you clearly didn't learn the lesson. Whatever you're doing, you could do it now, but you really need to think bigger. You're gonna be like, how do I enjoy the money? What do you mean, how do you enjoy the money? What do you mean, what do you mean get all that money and you can't enjoy it? What are you talking about? You're talking from a broke perspective. Get the money and then enjoy it. Like, get the money and then enjoy the money. Don't tell me what's the point of getting the money. Listen to yourself. Listen to the kind of crazy things that you have these people convincing you of. These people are lowlifes. And this is the truth. And I'm not saying it to just be mean for no reason. I'm telling you, these people have chosen this life to be here doing this bottom tier behavior. This is who you're going to take advice and validation from? These people? You look up to this? These people who are doing something that I'm sure when they were in high school or preschool and the teacher said, draw what you want to be, nobody drew a gang stalker. Nobody drew following people in the streets for 20 cents a day. Whatever they're giving these people is not enough. It's not enough for what these people have given up. These people have given up their soul and their future, because once a gang stalker, always. Once a gang stalker, always. Once a TI, not always. TIs are still free. Nobody told you where to be today. Nobody said at 4 a.m. somebody's leaving their work, coming off their night shift job at 3:45 a.m. and you have to be outside at 4 a.m. outside of their house to look at them and do a stupid face for 5 seconds before they open their garage to their house and go home. But somebody told a gang stalker to do that, and they don't have a choice, because if they don't show up to work, the gang stalking doesn't work. And these people do not give up. They don't have a choice. Gang stalking is slavery. And you're not a gang stalker. You get to decide to sleep in at 4 a.m. if that's what you want to do. So this is what I'm saying. Reframe your thinking. Think about it differently. Once you are not doing this, you are free. You're still free. They envy you. And this is why they want you to believe that you're going to be a TI forever. You're not going to be a TI forever. TIs can grow wings. Gang stalkers are chained to the ground by the system they participated in. They got fooled to do this, and now they can't go. Their life is done. They know that the matrix exists. People like you and I are not supposed to know that the matrix exists. We're not supposed to know that things work this way. And now, because we know things work this way, they want to get rid of us, and they can't. That is behind you now. That is behind you. Even if it's going to take you a while to unravel from all of these things. Because if today's the first day you're going to write out 99 problems, it's going to take a while. But isn't it nice when you get to cross one of them off, like really cross it off, meaning like they can no longer cross that boundary, like you've sealed it shut. Go down the list. When there's no more triggers, there's no more game. Game over. Kick the board off the table and walk away. Or leave it there if it makes you feel better. So when Gang Stalker takes one move, there's nobody there to take the counter move. They got to move it themselves. And they take another move and you're no longer at the table. They got to move it themselves. They got to play themselves at that table with your shadow or with your phantom or with whatever it is. They're binded to that cycle. You're not. You know what kind of root work that is? Do you know what kind of binding work that is? That is the envy of witches. That kind of alchemy is the envy of witches. Witches want to bind people to circumstances. You understand witchcraft? You think witchcraft is just evil eye so you trip and fall? Real witchcraft is binding people to phases of their life that they cannot escape. And this is what they are taking so much time and energy to do to you, is to bind you, who is free, who has wings, who doesn't know it's a butterfly, to something chained on the floor that's crawling on its belly. This is just a phase to learn some stuff. And then, do you know how it hurts to see you go? Let me tell you how it hurts to see you go. It's like, imagine you had a friend or even a foe. Worse, you had an enemy, an arch nemesis that you used to fight with in high school. And then one day you seen in the newspaper, on the news, or wherever on the internet that this person got drafted to the NBA. And the last time you saw this person, they looked regular. And then this time you saw them in the hallway, they look smug. It's something about them different. They didn't even get the money yet. The haircut looks better. The skin looks better. Something about, what is it about them? And they're walking with this confidence. They're walking with this aura, this air about them that they know that they didn't get the money yet, but they are already a millionaire. Because it's guaranteed. The draft happened. They're already a millionaire. They walk in the energy of the millions already now. They're still in the high school, but they're walking in the energy of the millions. So when you see them and the other kids at school see them, everybody's flocking up to them. All of a sudden, the girls want to date them. Nobody cared about this scrawny boy before, but now all of a sudden, there's something about him. What are these Walmart jeans? Oh my God, they look good. You look sexy. All of a sudden, this man, this boy who you used to be bigger than him, you used to have nicer shoes than him, you used to pull more girls than him, you used to be the big one. But now that it's been announced that he's being drafted to the NBA, you don't know how to feel. You feel sick. You can't really watch. You can't even look at him. You can't look at him. Because it doesn't matter what you look like, how many of these girls over here that you get, whatever happens, it doesn't matter. You're stuck to this situation, to this life experience, and he's off. Up this way. Not there. Not even that way. Like this way. He's up this way. He's out of here. So you think now that he's walking in this aura of being a millionaire, somebody important, somebody people want to talk to about doing commercials, you think that what you're saying is gonna touch him? So you think you're gonna have that audacity to go up to him and be like, say the same things you were saying before. Let's say you used to say to him like, you're so skinny, nobody wants you. He doesn't even hear you. He doesn't hear you. He's in a different place. He's in America. We're in a third world country, and I'm in America right now. I'm in a mansion. I don't care. Whatever. Okay. No problem. Like, he can't even give you any of that because you can't even get close to him physically anymore. You used to be able to walk past him. You got to come through a crowd now. There's always a crowd between you and him now. This is mentally where you got to get to with this gang stalking thing. You're focusing too much on the reality. You need the vibration of being drafted in the NBA. You need the vibration of it is done. It is finished. I'm out of here. I don't have to be here. I don't have to tolerate this. I don't care. These are small things. We must take our energy from the small things and put them in the big things. The big things, that the same energy, the same handful of energy taken from little things put into big things. The same 24 hours a day that you have, that everybody who's accomplished other things have. You're taking this and you're putting it in a future situation where you want to be, and not taking this small cup of energy and throwing it, wasting it on a dead situation, bind it to a storyline where you're the only one at this board playing yourself. That's what people say. Congratulations, you played yourself. You're playing yourself. There's nobody there. You're fighting a phantom. It's gone. You gotta leave it. You gotta be the one that leaves. You think you wanna be the one that sees other people leave? You wanna see other people living a superstar lifestyle, a rock star lifestyle that you used to fight? And like my neighbor's mom used to say, they're fooling you. You think you're rolling in the mud with them. You think you're playing with them, but this person is drafting. They're working, they're planning, they're whittling away. And you're here playing footsies with gang stalkers. You gotta get out of here. The fun news. I think I need to make this another live, because I need to make this part another live, because this has taken a new direction. I want to talk about attention. I want to talk about your attention. Extremely important. Your attention decides what you're worshiping. Who is your God? What is your God? A God can be a consciousness. A God can be an object. A God can be a thing, a person, whatever. It's where the most attention goes. And you decide that just with your attention. So, in this situation that has happened, a bunch of people come together and they notice something about you. I really think this is the TI thing. Now, in reality, the storyline could be different. Like, it could be a thing where it's like somebody's ex-husband has set them up. It could be a thing where, you know, for me, I was gang stalked to be a drug mule. It could be anything, right? But they're doing something here. And we all think about just the tangible part that we can see. The following on the streets, the, you know, hacking your stuff, doing all this craziness to you. That's what we see. It's above the surface. It's the iceberg. It's the piece you can see above the water. But 90% of it is below the surface. And not 90% that's below the surface is the spiritual stuff. It's the stuff that actually really matters. It's the stuff that makes it possible for the gang stalking to happen. It's the spell work, it's the soul binding, it's all of these things that are happening. It's the entities, it's the sickness, it's all of that. That's how you get stuck here. They soul bind to you. What happens is, technically, follow me along. With all the attention that they give you, they make you their God. It's a tricky thing. Maybe they may not even think about it like that, but I want you to follow along. With all of the attention that they're giving you, they've made you a god. They are putting your picture on altars. They're taking your items. They're praying over them. They're shipping them to different countries. They're doing all of this stuff. They're giving you insane amounts of energy. They're giving you an insane amount of energy every day. They talk about you every day. They obsess over you. They send you spell work, which is energy. It doesn't matter if the energy is good energy or bad energy. A man is not a good man or a bad man. Remember how we worked that out? A man is just a man. He will be a good man to woman A and a bad man to woman B. That's it. But it's just a man. Women are kind of the same. You will say, no, but there are people who are just bad people. No, there are people who have bad behaviors. They can change when they choose to change. They can change their behavior at any time with a decision. They are just people. Gang stalkers are just people who choose to gang stalk, but they're just people. These are not like, you've assigned them a lot of importance. I'm telling you, these are just people. So the first thing that they do is they make you their god. They'll never admit that, but that's what's happened here. They've made you their god. There's this hyperfixation, this hyperfocus. They pray about you all the time. Their name's on your tongue. They've generated all this energy, and all of a sudden, if we could measure life force energy, chi, if we could measure it and we say everybody gets 100%, they work very hard to deplete you down as low as possible from that 100%. But if you knew how to manage energy properly, it would be an opportunity for you to get more than 100% of energy. It would be a very unique opportunity to get more than 100% of energy. More energy than you were born with. Because gang stalking is a unique situation. For one person to work that hard to get so much energy for free, you would have to expend a ton of energy to get that much energy if you did it through witchcraft. If you sat there and you drained people of their energy like a lot of witches do, you think you could get that many people in this much time? Think about your first year of gang stalking, your first 6 months, how much energy these people expended, how many people a day followed you. Think about that. Free energy. They can't say you took it, they gave it to you for free. What are you doing with it? What do you have to show for it? In my city, they've made me infamous. They really made me famous. They made me a legend in this city, actually. I don't need any confirmation. It is common sense. There is something to watch. There is something to admire. There is something to respect. Whether you like me or not, you have to respect me and what I've done here through my strength, through how I've decided I'm going to navigate this situation, but not how I'm going to navigate the situation with the way I'm going to do it. Am I going to do it with grace? Am I going to lose my mind and run out into the streets naked and scream, I can't take this anymore? How am I going to navigate it? What have I done here? How many people have I been sleeping with, and how much validation have I been seeking, and how many people did I go beg? And how many people did I say, please help me, so they could spit in my face and kick me down? How have I navigated it? Who have I proven that I am? That's what you want to you want to think about this. How are you going to navigate this gang stalking experience here? Because you have an audience now. A lot of them, they'll keep picking up people and telling people about you every day. Do you know how much that kind of PR costs? Do you know how much it costs to get a public relations team to just throw one party, one event where they tell people about your brand? One event. You've had 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, however long it's been. Every time a celebrity has a scandal, they go put out a product, because we have something here which is very costly, and that is attention and energy. People are talking about you, good or bad. They are talking, they are looking, they are anticipating. What are you going to do with that energy? And you'll think about it in like a very like realistic 3D, like, you know, I hate to say like human sort of way, but spiritually, with that amount of energy, how much of this energy have you stored up? Now, I'm not claiming to know how to do this myself, but this is something that I want my ancestors to do for me. This is something I want my spirit guides to do for me. We don't have to send all of this energy back. Some of it we don't want, but a lot of this is very useful stuff. Like this is useful stuff. We can use this, because the kind of people that know me right now would have never known me. Like if I were to try to do this on my own. I got people that know me in Instagram's head office and Facebook's office and YouTube's office and Google's office and all kinds of places, at the telecommunications companies and the banks. They know me because these are the places where gang stalkers go to try to mess with you. And they know enough that that's a bad idea. They know not just me, but my God and who I believe in. They know what I believe in. So it's not me by myself. It's me and my mother together, us together, 2 hands to clap, one up here and mine down here. This is teamwork. This is co-creation. We are elevating together. So they didn't just hear about me. They're like, what does she believe in? Mother, what is that? And they want to know a little bit more about that. Because what has she escaped? With who? How? It's prompted some curiosity. So now there are CEOs in places that know of me. They're not going to admit that. They're not going to tell you that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is the potency of energy. Energy. Having energy. Other people's energy. Worker bees that work while you sleep. That slander while you sleep. That send spell work while you sleep. That work on your behalf to help you ascend. Put on your path strategically. And all you gotta do is stay on here as this rough situation gets you to where you wanna be. So they give you all this energy and they hope to switch roles with you, and almost 10 out of 10 times they get it done. They give you all the energy, it's negative, then you start giving them all of your energy and all of your attention, and now you're on the loop right where they wanted you, and you're talking about them every single day, all day long. That's all you want to talk about is TIs, is gang stalking. That's all you want to do is dissect gang stalking. And everybody just it's an addiction. So now you are now sending them your energy and your attention as they're pulling back theirs. because you can gang stalk yourself. You'll forget that you did something. You'll forget that you're the one that did it and then blame them for it. And it's like you make them this thing that's bigger than it is. And please, I'm on your side here. I'm not telling you that it's not happening. I'm telling you that there's a certain percentage of gang stalking where we gang stalk ourselves. You must accept it. Not 100% of it. There are times you have PTSD. That's something that you gotta work on. It takes time to get rid of it. Soldiers come from war with PTSD because it's not natural to be in that state all the time. So slowly but surely, you make the gang stalkers your god. And instead of moving on with your life, you stagnate here and give them all your attention and all your energy. And that's how they make you switch roles. But if you start pulling back your energy, they have to give you more of theirs. If you stop paying attention to them and stop reacting to them, they have to give you more of their energy, more of their life source. When someone does spell work, they use life force to do it. When someone lays in meditation, when someone lays down to astral project into your space, they're using life force to do it. Depleting valuable life force, throwing it in your direction, trapping it in your aura. You get to decide what you're going to do with it. You get to decide how you're going to play this, how you're going to navigate this life experience. Are you going to stay here? Are you going to envision yourself on a yacht somewhere in the ocean doing something fun by next year? What are you going to do, and how determined are you to do it? This is where you come to. This is where you have to get to. Doesn't matter how long or how short. Don't assign a time. Just get to that place. If you're in a relationship with someone and that person was giving you all the love in the world and they pull back slowly, you're going to have to start, you psychologically as a human being, you're going to start giving them more attention because you want them to love on you the same way again. That's how narcissists play. They give you all this love bombing and fake attention in the beginning, so you keep chasing that energy moving forward. However, if you started pulling your attention back at the same time that they pulled their attention back, they'd be like, wait, Hope, you're not supposed to do that. I think I'm better than you. This is not how I saw that going. What the hell's going on here? That's how you get them to turn around and throw that attention back in your direction. I'm not saying you want the gang stalking attention. I'm saying the attention, life force, is valuable. Life force is so valuable that witches steal it. They steal it through sex magic. They steal it through all kinds of means. They steal it. They want it. When someone is binded to a situation, they are doing nothing but throwing away life force. There's no karma here. There's nothing to pay for things that someone gives away for free, and you're giving yours away for free. You're giving it away for free because you've been manipulated into it. It's still wrong, but you got to recognize the game that you're playing. So if you give them your acknowledgement, I'm not talking about just your attention to the story. I'm saying you're acknowledging that they exist. If you just acknowledge them only, just with your acknowledgement and your attention, you're centering them in your life, and your life takes a back seat to them. People do this to other people all the time. This is a thing. This is a game that doesn't care about intellect. It doesn't care about, your credentials in school. This is human psychology. That's all it is. Predictable behavior. That's all it is. And you don't need to understand all of it. You just need to accept the laws of nature. Whatever you give attention to, you worship. Now for you, you have a whole coven, more than one. You have these witch doctors. You have all these entities. You have all these people talking about, you have all of this stuff going on around you. didn't ask for any of it. Now people know who you are. Do you know the amount of people that know who I am? Do you really? Like, I'm not talking about just in one country either. People everywhere know who I am, seriously. It's nothing to do with like popularity. It's like people know who I am because these people followed me everywhere that I tried to go and said something about me, making me significant, making me more than just a passing thought. That's a lot of energy, a lot of work, and a lot of time invested. And I thank them honestly for that service, because it goes attention, energy equals the worship equals power or dominion. Whatever it is that you worship has power over you. Power to trigger you, power to make you happy, power to make you sad. It just has power. And the worst place to be is where it has so much power that even by ignoring you and giving you zero energy, it's still affecting you. It's like when you gang stalk someone, you could literally stop gang stalking this person, and this person would still feel gang stalked. This person would still feel followed. This person would still feel like somebody's sabotaging them. They would still feel targeted because you've targeted them for so long. This is what I'm talking about. You got to take away your attention from the situation and walk away. The correct way is you're supposed to conserve your energy, and I talk about this through a lot of my videos. You're supposed to be conserving your energy for your healing, for your growth, for your development. You're supposed to be taking your energy and giving it to God through prayer, giving it to God through attention and worship and planning together and walking together and figuring out what's the correct role that you're supposed to be playing in this thing. That's the correct way to do. And whether or not these people continue to donate you their time and their energy is not really your choice, and it doesn't matter because God makes everything work out in your favor. Whether they give you attention or not, it works out in your favor. It teaches you what you need to know. It takes care of you, whether or not these people continue to do what they're supposed to do. If the minute they send you some spell work and a gush of energy, it elevates you immediately. They send you something, they want you to, I'll use myself, they want me to be fat and gain weight. You know what? As soon as that energy is alchemized, immediately I'm gonna look better every time. You just have to keep God close, keep moving forward. And I'm not talking about Jesus. That's a whole nother story. You can only imagine if it's not working on you, all the time and devotion that they're sending to you is robbing them of their life. It's robbing them of their future. It's robbing them of their resources, especially when it's not working. It's taking it away from them energetically, and energetically they've given it to you. And that's already in addition to what you already were supposed to have anyway. This is in addition through their own choices. So you have to kind of look at it like this way. If somebody starts talking really negatively about an artist's new song, it doesn't matter. You have to listen to the song in order to know it's bad. I listened to it and it was horrible. Well, YouTube counts the first 30 seconds as a view anyway. So either way, they got paid for you to listen to it and bash it. And the more people that say they don't like it, that spreads faster than people saying that they like it. It is something that it's like these record companies saw was happening, so they start their own rumors. They start their own beefs, they start their own arguments with people internally, secretly, arranging for people to date each other in fake relationships. They don't have to do anything, they just have to be caught outside by the paparazzi, not even holding hands, not even kissing, because people are going to make up a story. That's how they use people's energy and people's natures against them to make them money. They can never be. It's like if you're using your head, you should never be able to be broke. You should always keep yourself relevant, keep something going, like stoking the fire in some way. Because you can imagine what you were doing when no one was paying any attention to you. They make it very hard. They try to keep you down. They do all of this stuff to you. But if you do this correctly, you can take all of that energy and make something beautiful out of it. I'm going to make this part 1. How long have I been here? Yeah, I'm going to make this part 1, and I need to make part 2, and part 2 is going to be how we're going to do this. I had to skip the other stuff because it would have just been too much of a drastic shift from what I've been talking about. But this is going to be part 1. I'm going to pull a Spirit Messages card. Something about this water. There are waters that are better than other waters. We all know that. It's a fact. That's some good water. So anybody new who's watching me, these are my Spirit Oracle cards. I call them messages from Spirit. The initial card that I pulled, to guide this message that I had today was no mud, no lotus. We all know that lotus cards, they grow from mud, and you're not gonna get the beauty without the pain. Okay, these are cards that I think are good cards to read in regards to this journey that we're on. So the first one says, you wouldn't plant a seed and then dig it up every few minutes to see if it has grown. So why do you keep questioning yourself, your hard work, and your decisions? Have patience, stop overthinking, and keep watering your seeds. Keep doing the work, working on yourself, grooming yourself, having patience, putting out good work, taking your time, praying, connecting to God. We talk so much about technical, connecting to God on a very real level. That is the point of a spiritual ascension, to be closer to God. If you pay close attention, you will notice all the doors that once closed are opening up, just in a different form. Things may not appear exactly as you had envisioned. I think that's the whole point. I always say that of going through gang stalking is so that you can emerge a better version of yourself, that you will emerge into your highest timeline, that you will find yourself. You'll look back on your old self and you'll realize like how much you've grown, how much you've really gone through, how much you never let this thing phase you, derail you in the way that it was designed to, that you can just come out the other side. And let me tell you, regardless of if you come out the other side and you're some sort of, rich person, celebrity, if you're just a regular person, but you just have your happiness, your peace, self-mastery, control, self-control, whatever, that's the core skills you need to build anything. It's not like magic. Well, maybe for some people it might be magic like that, but maybe for you, it really might just be being the best version of yourself that you've ever seen. The unbreakable version of yourself. The crystal that I got here, I love this crystal. I have this as well. It's banded agate, and it's the crystal for multi-dimensional healing. It's a cord cutter, a spiritual cord cutter. Banded agate is a tie releaser for the third eye. It quickly cuts mental cords to a guru, partner, or parent who capitalizes on a previous connection to retain manipulative control in the present, replenishing energy lost in such situations. When someone is being prayed for, whether by a priest, a cult leader, to bring that person back to the fold, under control once again, banded agate returns the coercing energy to its source and frees the person to live life as they wish. Banded agate is a useful environmental healer. When gridded around a house, it prevents out-of-body visitations from another soul. On the body, it deals with digestive organs, blood tissue, blood vessels, eyes, the uterus, skin, lymphatic system, and pancreas. And in the mind, it promotes self-exploration, it boosts creativity, and lifts depression. This is what it looks like. It's not always the easiest stone to find, but I love crystals. I believe in the healing power of crystals. I don't just believe it, the crystals demonstrate themselves all the time. So I use crystals all the time. And I talk about crystals on this channel. I'm going to wrap it up here. Please like the live, share the video, leave comments. This is how the channel grows, how I get, my message out there to more people. And also for your own purposes, definitely check out the videos that I have kind of categorized in different playlists. And like I said, this is part 1 of the original message that I had. Sometimes it works out that way where I had something completely different to talk about and I get on here and it's like a completely different message and I have to talk about the other message later. But this is so important. The original message that I had to talk about is extremely important, so I'm gonna do that live, and that will be a part 2 to what I have talked about here. And I do not even remember what the heck I was talking about, so I don't know how I'm gonna name this. But anyway, thank you for hanging in there. Have a great day, guys, and remember, God loves you.